Before we get started, this video is sponsored by FaB Foundry, one of the first Flesh and Blood specialized game stores in the world, a pillar of the local FaB community in Portland, Oregon, a world tour organizer, and my personal favorite LGS. FaB Foundry is your one-stop shop for all things FaB related, whether that's singles, sealed product, playmats, sleeves, dice and tokens, especially featuring products from Metal FaB and Thai cards. FaB Foundry also offers a rewards program, which you can use to get store credit back on all your purchases. So please go check out FaB Foundries, support our local community in Portland, and use our promo code FleshandBad for a discount on your next singles order. Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be playing some Marlynn. I'm going to be doing like a little primer YouTube video coming up, I think this Wednesday, so I'm not going to go too deep in the deck today, but this is basically like basically verbatim like the Taylor Crawford list, which I think is also a deck that's I think a lot pretty worth practicing because I think the fundamentals here are very strong. I'm going to go and just play this deck. I'm not going to talk about it very much because I feel like this deck has already been talked about pretty extensively. But yeah, we're going to be doing like a more kind of like in-depth breakdown later. But today I just want to practice for the upcoming ProQuest season. So we're going to try to get some matchups that I think are a little bit more popular. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some games and see how we can practice for the upcoming ProQuest. All right, playing against Kayo. I think I typically like going first in Kayo, although I don't think second's all that bad. But this is a Kraken and a Shark matchup. Yep, rest of it looks good. I think this is a matchup that I feel like is pretty favored for Marlynn, just because like even if your Krakens aren't getting a card out of hand, like if they give you if they make you like your opponent like take a Blood Rush out of hand, or if they get like a Song of Sinew, Cast Bones, I feel like there's a lot of like pretty decent targets. All right, so let's start by playing the Lone Shark, and I think here this actually might just be a Goldfin turn. So let's crack Marlynn, and then we'll try to load this Goldfin Harpoon. If we draw another blue, then I think I'm just going to play this Catch of a Day, even though it's not going to give us any value. So yeah, this is fine here. We'll get an extra +2 here, and then we'll basically get to swing the hook unabated. Oh, sorry, coming in for 8 instead. I think I might have treated this as a +3. But still pretty good. We get initial gold here, which is nice, and we also leak 5 damage. So overall, I'd say pretty happy with that, and we get to have a Codex in Arsenal, which is always nice. We do need to find a good target for it, though. It looks like we might not have that yet. So this is awkward because I want to block, but I also like don't want to block. It's kind of interesting. Like we could play out the Codex and just like get no value out of it, which is like fine, but obviously not super exciting. I think we're just going to take this, though. I mean, there's no real incentive of blocking because we're going to lose the clash anyways. It seemed like their initial starting hand was maybe very red heavy, and maybe they're going to try to arsenal another red. All right, so how do we want to start this off? So we're not going to be able to get anything back from Codex, which means we're definitely making a Goldfin this turn. I guess the question is, like, what are we doing with it? Let's then... I think we're going to big game trophy shot. Let's big game trophy shot, pitching the Lone Shark. All right, we find Eye of Ophidia. Does that help us? So the funny thing is we're not going to discard here. So the Eye actually does help because it means we can guarantee the blue on top, which means in that case we can get rid of the Codex of Bloodrot since we're making a Ponder off the Frailty anyways. And this is like a very, very awkward hand, but it kind of is working out. So we're going to get no value out of the Codex, but that's fine. Then we can Gold Crack, put a blue on top. Take Aim is a great arsenal if we can ponder into that, so that's great. Then we can load the Goldfin, Hammerhead, Premeditate, and then Gold Baited Hook for free. So I think this works out. I guess this isn't technically for free, but they don't technically have the block for it unless they have like No Fear or something. So they're going to give us a block here, maybe signaling that their hand isn't that great. Or maybe they just can't use all the cards in hand. All right, so we get 2 ponders here. Imagine we're probably just going to arsenal the Take Aim. Although not having the arrows is a bit painful. All right, so there's our best arrow in the matchup, which we can pretty easily play here. They are going to have a Blood Rush turn, so as long as we can go undisrupted here, I think we're actually in a pretty decent spot. Although our hand is still strong against at least non-brute disruption. Like if they just have like a CNC, we can block that pretty easily. Alright, but we're gonna take 10 here, go to 19, and then we're gonna send crack back, I think, with the King Shark. And we'll also have a Ponder token for next turn, which is really good. We'll be making some gold. I guess we might as well just like give the gold rated hook now. We're gonna be using our tunic counter at some point. I guess there's not really like a super strong incentive. Because I don't think we're gonna risk our hook blowing up next turn. The only thing that really like gets us here is like no fear, which I don't think people are running. So I think we're just gonna take the 10 here. Still want to save this gold bait hook in case they like send in like a CNC or send packing or something. But start here with the take game. Bring in the King Shark. Blood Rot just for the extra value. And then we'll send in the Shark. So I think this is basically guaranteed to hit unless they have something weird. But in general, I feel like Kayo lists are like pretty homogenized. Feels like they don't really run any like non-attack cards or like not like block cards, defense reactions, that kind of thing. So feels pretty likely this King Shark is going to be hitting here. All right, we also get the hook as well, which is nice. So I think I'm kind of happy just taking the only red out of their hand and just leaving them with a bunch of blues. There are, I guess, punishes to this. We could also take a Buckwile, or we could take like the Agile Wind up here if we wanted to. But I feel like if they have like a red in Arsenal, then like just taking the Bear Fangs is maybe safest. So we'll go ahead. Oh, we ponder into another take game, which is really good. All right, so they're gonna get a chance to draw a discard here, but it looks like they hit a Tear Limb from them off the top. So that's gonna severely limit the options they have, although they can pay into the Blood Rot now. So this might be a turn where we just want to kind of crack some gold and just see what we find. So yeah, I think we're just gonna block with the gold bait hook and just see what happens. So this is one of those hands where you can kind of treat Tunic as like 5 intellect. Because we have a blue, we can basically turn Tunic and the blue into like 2 extra cards, which is kind of cool. We have the take game whenever, so we also don't have to carry about loading with this hand, which is nice. All right, 3 oak's a really good draw. So now that we drew 3 oak, I almost kind of want to just like crack the sleep dart and just see if we can find something better to send. So Redfin Harpoon is actually really nice here. All right, so let's double pre-med. We can even draw 1 more card if we really want to, but also not super necessary. We also like take aim, load a buff if we want to, and then crack a gold after. So I think I'm just gonna rip the 3 oak here and just see what we draw into. If we draw a buff, we can also just like play it out of Arsenal, which is really nice. All right, so now we'll take aim, load the Shark. And I guess we'll hold on to the Redfin Harpoon. I generally don't like Arsenal like Tipple and like Sleep Dart and Drill Shot in this matchup because of scaling. But this is probably just going to like eat all their armor here plus their hand, so I think I'm fine with this. I feel like this is one of the reasons that you want to be playing Marlynn. And Tegan, this is maybe a good opportunity to put in the what's 9 plus 10 meme.
Here we can see that it has red 40.
Thank God it don't got red 21 in it. 21? What's 9 plus 10? 21? Thank God it don't got that in it. What's 9 plus 10? 21? Thank God it don't got that in it, man. 21? You stupid. No.
But yeah, pretty big King Shark here. All right, so we're going to eat all their armor. They're going to hold on to Flesh Bag, which I think makes sense. And then we're going to get a bunch of value here. So let's see what their hand is. So I think their hand is just or their arsenal is just a blue Buckwild if I remember correctly. So in that case, I guess we'll just take Agile Wind up. I don't think it really matters. Seems like some of their draws have been quite rough. All right, King Kraken will probably seal the deal next turn. Oh yeah, perfect. Ideal Marlynn hand, average Marlynn hand. And we also have Tunic up still in case we want the 5 intellect here, which I think we're definitely going to try to take. Although it's probably not necessary. But yeah, I think our opponent might be in a bit of rough shape here. I say they do get the extra +1 value off the gauntlets, which I guess we didn't take into account, but we're still at 6, which is quite healthy. I feel like this is like actually one of Marlynn's just like better matchups. It's just like you have like even if you're not drawing your your attack actions. You just have like the way to get around scaling, which is quite nice. Technically, I shouldn't be doing this first. I should probably just be cracking gold first. There's actually an argument to just like not even cracking gold, but I'm greedy. See if we can find one more buff. Oh, that's a good one. All right, I'm gonna get like a little bit like this. We like they're actually like dead on board, but like it's kind of just fun to crack gold. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and we drew basically the perfect. All right, and we'll have a nice little king kraken for 20 to finish it up. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty average Marlin draw. Just 19 into 20 there to kind of finish them off. Yeah, so I think we had a little bit of a slow start. So we're doing like 8, 13, 14, 21,
21.
20. I think like, yeah, maybe like we started off a little bit slow, but I feel like we kind of just kind of steamrolled them towards the end there. All right, that was a pretty good game. Let's see if we can get another. All right, playing against the Gravy. Definitely one of the tougher matchups. I still don't fully know how to like Cyber in this matchup. But we'll give them a good look. Have fun. So supposedly what Taylor was telling me was you want to try to bring in Tarpin in this matchup. Which I think I'm going to try over me like the gold tips and like the lace blood rot and try to do something like this. I think you want both of these, although I could see the argument of like cutting the third Kraken. But let's try this, see how it goes. In general, I think you do want to try to be going first in this matchup if you can help it. Just means you have like a lot more agency and they can't like set up a chum on turn 1 or something. All right, cutting for 2, we see a Humperdinck revealed, which is not one of the allies we generally care about. I think I just like blocking with a sleep dart here. I feel like we want to hold on to the Yellowfin in case we're able to send the next turn. I think Yellowfin is like surprisingly decent in Gravy. Even if we're just like discarding an ally, it's still a decent amount of value. My opponent's on the Tricorn as well. So it's functionally like a on defense gold. All right, they're gonna Major Master Boots. Interesting start here. So maybe they're gonna do like a double ally turn here. Let's see, at least what's screaming to me. Like maybe they're gonna try to do like double Rigor Mortis. Could definitely be annoying. But this is not that bad. I think I'm just gonna hold on to drop the anchor here so I can try to tap that down next turn. I would say that's not maybe the best use of the Mage Master Boots there. It feels like in general you want to try to use Major Master Boots to like play out an ally from hand and then do something else afterwards. But like just swinging with Rigor Mortis on turn 1 is like not super exciting. Okay, so this is interesting. Maybe we should have held on to the arrow and maybe I got a little bit greedy. Yeah, I wonder if maybe losing the sleep dart there was wrong. Definitely got a bit punished for trying to keep this hand. So I think our out here is Quiver. But even Quiver is like kind of bad. This hand is just like really, really bad. Let's go ahead and Quiver here though. Maybe we'll hit something random off the top. I think I'll basically take anything at this point. All right, Redfin Harpoon is good. I guess the question is whether or not we want to even send that at them or if we just want to try to take out the Rigor early. I think that's an interesting decision. Like we got super punished by like doing what we did on the first hand. Like maybe blocking with the drop was better. But here, I think I almost just like taking care of the Rigor early. They don't have any allies set up. So like attacking them, I feel like is not super appealing, especially when they have the Tricorn. I think I'm just going to take it a little bit slow here and just Arsenal to drop the anchor for next turn and hope we find a little bit more action. All right, this hand's a lot better. If they have an attack way to discard an ally, the Sunken Treasures will be really good, but if they don't attack beforehand, obviously that's a little bit rough. This hand's a lot better. So now we can Yellowfin, which is good. Looks like we're going to get Conquered. Not a ton of yellows in graveyard at this moment, too, which is a little bit unfortunate. Oh, but we're just pitching 2 yellows, so this is actually maybe fine for us. So, interesting. We obviously have, like, 7 black here if we want to. God, this is another problem hand of just, like, not having the gold necessary to do what we want to do. I think there's actually probably an argument to just like giving up Tunic here. It feels super bad. But like I think this is correct because it's the only thing that actually lets us like send anything next turn. Otherwise we're basically doing nothing. Yeah, I think this is just a super awkward series of draws. There's also maybe an argument to just like blocking a bit. Like maybe we just block this out and not give armor. And then we just do nothing on our turn again, which like also feels terrible. I don't know. Not super exciting in terms of our hands is what I would say. All right, go ahead and play out the drop. Then we'll crack a gold. If we don't hit a blue here, it's unfortunate, but it looks like we hit here, which is nice. And I think I am going to risk the gold-baited hook, just because we need to like start generating gold. It's super awkward because like we both like lost a ton of our armor and like we're both still sitting at 40, which is weird. I don't know, maybe blocking that out last turn was actually just better. And just like I like arsenaling, or not even arsenaling, just passing. It's a very weird series of draws here, I think. Discard a rigger. I think we were hoping that they just drew into another ally. Would probably be ideal case scenario. Alright, so we see 2 chums as well. Well, I guess we were still taking a chum just so we get some gold online. But not exactly, I think, what I wanted to see there. This is a good hand, though. We managed to block with the King Shark somehow. We can Codex, grab it back. And that'll be really good. My opponent's also just having some really weird, awkward gravy draws. So I think we're going to try to take advantage of this and just get the extra 3 value here. Because I don't think there's any real incentive to like cracking gold and not playing the Codex. I guess the incentive would be Catch of the Day if we wanted to go for that. I feel like Catch of the Day is like not necessary against Gravy, so I think I'm fine just getting the 3 block value here. And I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of this chum in any way. All right, so let's go ahead and pump here. We get the Eye of Video look as well. Ooh, these are both fantastic. So I guess here, let's keep the... I guess let's keep the 3-oak in Arsenal. So yeah, let's Arsenal 3-oak, draw the shark in case we need a block. Okay, we'll Codex. It seems like they're a bit attack heavy, so I kind of like just grabbing the King Shark here. Like their last couple of hands, they've had a bunch of attacks. So I feel like this has like a lot more likelihood of hitting. I feel like the elephant's not super appealing. Like I'd rather just take their starters as opposed to their like allies at this point. Right, so we'll go bait hook, get the King Shark, and we will discard his sea legs. They could have blocked with this if they wanted to, but I guess they wouldn't get a gold kiss from. I'm still gonna take this, I think. But yeah, opponent will be sitting on a gold kiss from now. Our hand's still really good though. So I think we're still in pretty decent shape. And the benefit of not arsenaling the King Shark there is that if we draw into King Kraken, I think I'd actually rather just play this against Gravy most of the time. Alright, looks like our opponent's just going to hard cast a chum. Which is probably fine. What it probably means here is that we're just going to be trying to bait them into using chum. And if they don't want to use chum, then I'm just going to swing face. Alright, you're going to discard Swabby, that's fine. So now that it doesn't matter, I think we're just going to send the King Shark at that. So we'll go ahead and 3-oak. So let's grab that King Shark, and then we're gonna, I think, Arsenal either the Take Game or the King Kraken. And then let's pitch the port side. We'll pitch a Sleep Dart as well. I think I want to try to hold on to the Take Game. We could actually just IP with the blue too. I don't think that's unreasonable. Maybe the blue is actually better than the Take Game. The Take Game is, I think, a greedier line, but I'd rather just like have the pitch card, I think. All right, we'll Arsenal the King Kraken there. So that's what I was afraid of, is like this hand where I was kind of worried that we're going to draw into a bunch of like reds and yellows and then we weren't going to be able to play our cards out. So I kind of like, I stand by the decision of maybe pitching the Take Game there over the Sleep Dart. All right, opponent's going to start with a Rigor Mortis and then maybe swing, play out Chum or something. Yep, seems like that makes sense. So fortunately here, we can just like keep pressuring chum whenever we want. So they are going to be threatening a bit of gold here. I think I'm okay just like taking this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of damage here. We're still sitting at 37, so we're pretty high life total. So I'd much rather just like make sure that we like kind of deal with what they're doing. So you get to 3 gold here. And then the chum is going to present some kind of awkward breakpoints, I guess. But not the end of the world. Right, just coming in for 4. They could have threatened the hook there if they really wanted to, but maybe they missed that the Avasti made some gold. At this point, I feel like our gold pile doesn't really matter all that much. So maybe it doesn't matter a ton. All right, let's go ahead and let's start with the loan shark and see if they want to do anything in priority. If they want to chum, what I'm just going to do is like probably just send the Kraken there. I think to be safe, I should probably pre-med just in case they have a fearless confrontation. Because I think we can't necessarily afford for this chum to live. If they don't want to pay into this, I'm like halfway tempted to just start cracking some gold and just see what happens. But it's probably safer to just clear this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take care of the chum for a turn, I think. It was smart of them to not, I think, activate chum in response there. All right, so we got 2 chums out of the way. Sitting on 8 gold, which is still good. We've got a decent hand next turn. The only problem is obviously the no armor situation, but if we can get around disruption for a turn, I think we're actually in decent shape. Like this hand, if next turn, if we get to keep this entire hand, I think we just kill them. So 2 chums out of the way. You just have to worry about Anka, but I've seen a lot less like Anka in lists. I think it's like a decent card right now, but maybe just too expensive for what the cost curve of these gravy decks are kind of trying to do. Right, typical no discard is fine, or at least I don't think they discarded, right? Did they discard a scuba? Maybe they did. Oh, they did discard. Okay, yeah, they did make another gold there. So you had 2 scubas and a swabby in the yard. It's kind of fine at this point. Like, I don't really care about them playing out more allies since they already have the rigor on the board. What I more so care about is just like any form of disruption that they have. All right, playing out the swabby makes sense. Yeah, I'm curious to see what their last card. So they actually pitched an Avasti, which is interesting when they had like double ally hand. They hold on to that. They can maybe like go a bit wider this turn. But maybe there's a reason why they didn't, or maybe they drew into like the jury runs or something. All right, but we have no incentive to block this, so we won't. They could have also hooked this too. If they wanted to. I feel like they could have gotten us to like 6 gold, but I don't know how much that actually matters. All right, let's go ahead and start by activating Marlynn. So we're undisrupted this turn, which is really nice. We could seafloor salvage, but there's really not a great target for it at the moment. I feel like we'd honestly just rather have this for like pitch. So I think it's going to be basically our kind of gravy turn this turn. All right, so we drew a blue, which is nice, which means we're going to get a lot of looks this turn. So let's get a little greedy. We're sitting on a pile of gold. I want to see if I can try to convert this into like actual value. So let's keep drawing. Draw blue here, it's really nice. If we don't draw blue, I think it's still fine. All right, blue is fantastic. So this means that we're going to get, I think it's basically what, like a 20 value turn? Yep, so let's go ahead and just play the codex. We're not going to get the ponder value since we already have the codex in Arsenal, or we're probably going to Arsenal this anyways. But we do get the blood rot, which is nice. And then we're going to be sending in with the Kraken for 14, but functionally 16 with the Blood Rot. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Let's do the Crack first. So I guess we accidentally kind of showed our opponent the Codex of Frailty there, but that's my bad. So 14 overpower. If they have any attacks in their hand, we obviously get to take them off of that. And they still probably have some Conquerors, some Jittery Bones, some Sloops. So I'd say we got a lot of good options here. Steal their gold. Pummel, Portside Exchange, Charge. Okay, so we whiff on this, which is fine. But their hand is also, like, kind of terrible. I mean, the Pummels are concerning. I guess it's just whether or not they have an attack to pummel, which is maybe up for question. I guess they could pummel, like, a Conqueror or a Sloop or something, but outside of that, I don't know if I actually care. Right, discarding a Loan Shark and a Rigger, so they're going to be sitting on some gold themselves. Hoping to just have to block through this hand. We still have a couple 3-Oaks in the deck still. 3-Oaks, Krakens, we got some good targets. Alright, discarding 1 blue pummel. Looks like they're maybe going to crack gold so they can try to find something to use their other one. Alright, big turn from them. I guess the question here is how wide are they going to be able to go? Alright, so both the pummels are now gone. That's comforting. Alright, so then following up with the Conqueror. So I think we can't afford to block this. I think we just won't. We have the Codex of Blood Rot for backup. We can set a Bluefin Harpoon. They don't have a pummel anymore. Or they shouldn't have a pummel anymore. So I think this is fine. Obviously, losing the Codex of Frailty is a bit painful. Alright, they did have the 3rd pummel. Okay. Very, very spicy. Sure. So I guess in that case, we'll just get rid of the Blood Rot and just try to load the Bluefin manually. A very interesting gravy list from our opponent here. And I feel like I typically do not see blue pummel and gravy, but I guess we did get got by it. Yes, very interesting cards from our gravy friend here. Alright, so they play out the other Rigger. And then just attack with FaB for 7. Okay, we're fine with this. So next turn, I think we're just going to be trying to dig for 3-Oak. And then hoping we can try to extract some value out of it. We have 7 draws. 7 draws, 2 3-Oaks in deck. We also have a Codex in deck. Yeah, let's try cracking gold and just see what happens. We might end up just loading a Bluefin, depending on how greedy we feel. Alright, Tarpit Trap is a whiff. But we could still just, like, send in the Bluefin here. I think we just, like, need to get a little bit more aggressive, though, because they had the pummel on the Conqueror there. Alright, take game is interesting. Alright, let's keep getting greedy. I want to try to kill them this turn as opposed to just, like, disrupting them, because if they're able to, like, swing with allies, it's really bad. Alright, the Tarpit Traps are not being incredibly helpful right now. King Kraken is nice, though. So if we need one more resource, then we can send the King Kraken now. That could be another resource. Problem is, obviously, like, we're going down on resources, so I think this is still fine, though. Even if we're not sending this overpower, this still kind of works. So we can now do this. Kraken. We could try to do one more look, and if we draw a buff, then we can play that. If we don't draw a buff, then we can pitch it to overpower it if we wanted to. If we draw blue, obviously this works. So blue means we pump Hammerhead, buff means we just send the buff. Alright, and the buff I think works here. And then we need a gold-baited hook so we don't die to the loan sharks here. But yeah, the tar pit traps, I think, not making a super strong showing this game. But 16 overpower will demand basically all the cards from their hand. They also will probably need like a react here just to live. Okay, and it seems like they maybe just had to give us their whole hand here. All right, so that was a little suspect, I think, to end it off. I feel like the tar pit traps are maybe not doing us a ton of favors. I feel like the tar pit traps do make some sense in this matchup, though, like specifically on Conqueror, which is like kind of why you play this card. I think I played it as like a 2-of. I don't know if that's right. I don't know. The Grave matchup's still like definitely a bit weird to me. I feel like there's definitely things you can do to like improve the matchup a bit. But I feel like overall we played that right. I think we had some like unfortunate variance in our couple like first couple hands where we kind of like did not hold on to the arrow, so we got punished for that. And yeah, maybe we're overvaluing the drop the anchor on the first hand a bit too much. All right, but that was a pretty good game. Let's see if we can get one more. All right, it's playing against a Lyath. So they're going to choose to go first, which I think is correct. The nice thing about Lyath is that you don't have to worry about he reacts as much, so authority is not great. But I think I do like running the riches, maybe. I feel like you'll probably get away without riches. I think drop the anchor is basically useless. All right, let's run with the riches and see how it goes. All right, running Ironhide Helm and the Blade Beckoner boots. Very interesting. I think Imposing Visage has been one of those cards that's been kind of a subject of debate in Live Plus. I feel like I'm like anti-Imposing Visage, but I don't really have a super strong argument for or against it. All right, 2 steps ahead of those, not bad. So here we can send a blue pin for 11 if we wanted to, but I almost want to just try to like filter towards better cards. Whoever here is like kind of risky. I feel like I'm maybe supposed to just eat this. I think our hand like plays well enough on its own that I don't want to like risk the additional variance here. We do have to worry about the Lyath ability a bit though. Or the what is it? Not it's not specialization, but the card that intimidates card out of their hand. They maybe had the opportunity to do it there. I think maybe we should have tried to just buff the Hammerhead first and see what they do, and maybe they have a 50-50 between the take aim and the arrow. I feel like that also has its own risk. So maybe take aim first is still better. Yeah, Bluefin coming in for 11 is not terrible. Not the best, but not the end of the world. All right, so it seems like they're going to be more of like a fatigue Lyath if they're playing last ditch effort. Or maybe they're just running that in the blue base. I think that also is reasonable. All right, Blessing of Serenity as well. So it seems a lot more defensive here. All right, I think this is still coming in for 1 though. So maybe we'll get a peek at whatever card is left in their hand. All right, Battered Beacon broken, and then a Hungry for more. Okay, so neither card we really care about there. And we do get to kind of clear their hand so they're not able to set up too much. All right, so there's the Battered. I think for 5. I do control some auras, so we will have to try to block this. This hand doesn't excite me very much. Their other card in hand is what? Why am I forgetting their? I think I just saw it, right? It was I forget what that card is. So someone will remind me. I think I had to block 5 here. I don't think they had a way to pump it anymore. I'm forgetting what this card is. I feel like I'm more so forgetting the name of it. I think it's like a red, right? Alright, I think we're just gonna play out Plunge Shark and Pass here. Try to get on head on tempo a little bit and just Arsenal the King Shark. Giving Lyath tempo is like a little bit scary, but hopefully it won't hurt us too bad. I'd say the confidence token here is probably the scariest thing. They can like tower a big attack, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. Alright, Riches is interesting, and Lyath. I feel like that's something I've not seen a ton of. I guess maybe the gold makes sense. Oh, Hungry for More. That was the card I was thinking of. It's like some weird red aura that I could not put my finger on. So it looks like we're playing against like a more like fatigue oriented Lyath, which is interesting. All right, Terrace Under is definitely scary. All right, just on a Titan Swiss. How much is this coming in for? 8. So we cannot block 8, which is fine. Maybe we just have to give up the gold, the tip, and the King Kraken here, and then just fire off the King Shark and see what happens. I think that's reasonable. It has 1 Terrace Under down, which is also nice. I feel like a lot of the time whenever these new Guardians play Terrace Under, you kind of just have to eat it. Not a super efficient way to really block. So maybe also an argument there to just like blocking with like King Kraken, losing the 2 blues and playing Seafloor Salvage. I think that's also a potential line. But I do like just trying to send in the King Shark here and just put them off playing a bunch of stuff. So we could also be eating the Lone Shark here, but it just puts us to 30. I think we got some life to work with, so it's not, I think, the end of the world there. All right, in the palm of your hand also making an appearance. Fiddler's Green Block also makes sense, and Oasis. So yeah, very fatigue-oriented Lyath here. I think it's a bit of a more interesting direction. I feel like I'd see a lot more of just the like kind of like go tall style Lyath deck. So the kind of like small fatigue value Lyath decks are kind of interesting to me. It looks like they're going to just play out the Hungry for More end of turn. Interesting. So you're getting a lot of good value here. I'm just kind of curious what their end game is. Maybe it's just like Intimidate or whatever. Could make sense. All right, so let's go. So I feel like they want to ideally hold on to yellows. So maybe the Yellowfin Harpoon is actually better than the blue, but I feel like blue is probably just safer. So let's go for our Tunic plus gold cracking place. I think we're going to crack 2 gold here and just see what we draw into. Could get Intimidated here. I don't think that's the end of the world, though. We have backups in case they try to do stuff. It's not loading anything yet. I think we'll crack 1 more gold and just see what happens. Right. Crack the 2nd gold. I feel like they're maybe holding priority for the 1 card. All right, so let's load the bluefin in, play catch, and now we're kind of immune from the leave them hanging. And I think we're going to look to Arsenal the Sleep Dart. Or no, Sleep Dart's actually really bad against Lyath, so we should actually pitch the Sleep Dart and then Arsenal, I think, the Yellowfin. I feel like a lot of Lyath's power cards tend to be yellow. So we'll go for the bluefin here. Opponent's doing a good job of staying pretty healthy, though, which is a bit concerning. Probably means we have more prevention effects we still have to worry about. I think that's the 3rd Fiddler screen. No, the 2nd Fiddler screen. Okay. So it looks like they're just going to give us the fridge here. All right, set up some more last-ditch efforts. So maybe that's kind of like their win con for this kind of style of Lyath. It's pretty interesting. So they're currently blocking 9. Do they have a way to prevent an extra 1? I guess they can also like Lyath pump. But I feel like if I'm stripping their hand and they're not like setting something up, I'm actually kind of okay with this. All right, so pitching a boost, so they get to pump by an additional 1. Yeah, I'd say this is fine. We get their armor out of the way. Not the end of the world here, I'd say. All right, they do get some more Fiddler's Green value, but I think our opponent's going to just end up on 50-something life here. 52 life. Seems pretty good. All right, just coming in with the hammer. I feel like I just want to play out this hand. So I think I'm not going to I'm not going to block this hammer. We just need to keep up the aggression, I think, so they're not able to like set up a bunch of stuff. We are getting pretty low, and they're like sitting at a very high life total, though, so it does feel pretty bad, I'd say. We just need to get to the point where we're disrupting them, I think is the biggest thing. Alright, so let's pre-med, and then hope to not leave them hanging tier. I think that'd be worst case scenario. Alright, let's see what we got off the 3 oak. Alright, Codex is a good draw. Alright, so we'll try to overpitch in such a way. Or actually, hold on, sorry. I think we're actually supposed to pitch the pre-med here. Pitch the pre-med plus a blue so that they can't intimidate us. Oh, okay. So we'll pitch the pre-med plus the blue. Hold on the Codex so we can play next turn. I guess we can Sea Lace here too, if we really want to. So we've made a gold this turn, so we get to hook as well. Alright, now we're coming in for 11 here. Should be pretty good. If we can at least force some yellows out of hand, that'd be ideal. We've actually not seen it. I guess we've only seen the one yellow from our opponent here, but typically Lyath does run a mix of colors. I feel like Pleiades is like a lot more like red-blue, but a lot of the Lyath cards just like end up being yellow. Alright, so that's the third last-ditch effort. So our opponent could be trying to set up some crazy combo here. Alright, but we'll get a bit of gold, so we get to hit with this. So there's some Cruel Ambition and some Goon Tactics. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it looks like definitely more of like a Fatigue Lyath build, which I've not seen a ton of. So imagine their turn is here. It's going to be double Cruel Ambition, and then maybe play out the Goon Battery, or the Goon Tactics. Is that the card? If you control 3 or more auras, it gets +3 when it hits here. Destroy the top card of the deck. Okay. So we do have to be a little bit concerned about fatigue. What I'm more so concerned about is like damage at this point, though, because they have such a big life lead. So I want to try to keep them off of their hand as much as possible. So I think we have to just take this, unfortunately. So we'll get to destroy the top card of our deck, but I don't think we really care as much. And Drill Shot, we're not really too sorry about losing. All right, so let's go ahead and start out strong here. So how do we want to do this? Start by making a Goldfin Harpoon. They'll pitch the riches or refreshing the golds. Could intimidate us here if they wanted to, but we're still kind of fine with that. It's a decent opportunity. All right, another Codex is fine. The only problem is we'll have to discard that. I think I'm going to crack a gold here just to see if I can find another blue. Although the resources here are a bit awkward. Take aim actually works. So that means we can't get intimidated. The only problem is we just have to pitch the Codex, which I think I'm fine with. So let's go ahead and pitch the Codex plus the Catch of the Day. They can technically intimidate this if they want to. But I don't think there's a really big incentive for that. All right, so we take aim. Now Codex. And I guess the question is, are they more attack action heavy or non-attack heavy? I feel like they're probably more non-attack heavy, so I feel like I actually like the Kraken a bit more. And we have made a gold off the riches this turn, so we do get the free hook, which is also fantastic. So I'm kind of grateful that I brought in the riches there. I wasn't sure if they were going to be more fatigue-oriented Lyath, but turns out they were, and I think we're the better for it. All right, playing the Goon beatdown as well as hits hero, the crowd boos you. Okay, interesting. Is there also like a Goon battery? Maybe, I thought that something battery. There's like a Sultan battery or something. I'm trying to remember what the other card I'm thinking of is. All right, Withstand plus Oasis seems good. It's like a Lyath like prevention pile, which is interesting. So you do still get to connect here. All right, last card is a Mocking Blow, so maybe you get a little punished for not crackening there. That's fine. Yeah, opponent's still sitting at just a super healthy life total, unfortunately. All right, try to draw the Codex first, and then the riches catch. Okay, seems good. All right, found our 3x though, which is fortunate. Yeah, Mocking Blow is going to be really good here. This might be a point where we just have to like. I want to block this, but I also just like don't want to block this. Maybe we're supposed to block the sleep dart because we have the double 3 oak. But again, our opponent's just like outvaluing us like super hard with all the prevention. I guess the question is if they have a way to kill us though. Maybe that's what's going to keep us in this game, but I'm not super hopeful. All right, we're going to take our 8 here. And yeah, our opponent's just been able to gain 1,000,000 life here. Still have one more Oasis to worry about. We have one more Sigil, one more Fiddler's Green, and then I guess we saw all the Hungry for Mores, unfortunately, but yeah, opponent's doing some kind of nasty stuff over there. All right, Marlynn. I guess the also like unfortunate part is they're just able to like discard their entire hand every turn or just like play it out so that they're getting the value. We're not disrupting them. All right, this is a fine leave them hanging. I'm more so concerned about the double leave them hanging than anything. All right, so 3 oak intimidate is not that bad. We'll start at the port side and just hope they don't have a second one. If they have a second one here, that'd be unfortunate, but not a ton we can do. It almost feels like they kind of do. All right, we're gonna get a little greedy though. Full loan shark. They can punish us for this if they want to. If they have the second, leave them hanging. All right, but we do get to resolve it, which is nice. All right, and we do get to send the Kraken, which is also really good. Yeah, we kind of just need to get them to the point where they can't keep sending stuff at us, because I feel like they just have so much room that we're not able to like capitalize on it very well. All right, we'll load the King Kraken. All right, pump Hammerhead, and then send in the Kraken from Arsenal. Probably look to Arsenal the other Kraken for next turn. I imagine they're probably not on very much Arsenal disruption with this deck. We still have some more withstands probably to worry about too. Yeah, maybe just a bad matchup, honestly, with this particular version of Lyath. All right, we do get to, or no, we don't even get to discard in the palm of your hand, do we? So I guess we just whiff on this too, which is unfortunate. So yeah, opponents just got a very good deck, I think. All right, Cruel Ambition from Arsenal. So they are running like non-attacks. I think we're just like whiffing on them super hard. All right, another Mocking Blow is also unfortunate. This one's only coming in for 5 though. It's maybe not the end of the world here. So I think we still just got to take this. We have one Codex that I think that's still live. We have one King Shark as well. I feel like King Shark might just be better against them. I almost kind of like just cashing in this drill shot for a bit of life here because we're so low. I just don't want to like die out of nowhere, especially with a bunch of might set up for next turn. They're basically getting +8 on their next attack. We still have some Intimidate to worry about too. There's the Sigil. All right, all 3 Sigils down too. So we'll start by trying to big game trophy shot. I'm still worried about the other leave them hangings though. Like we're kind of overdue for another one here. Yeah, this could be pretty bad. I had to get rid of the Kraken, which is actually probably the best hit for us, because that means we get to now Goldfin. Yeah, this is a bit demoralizing though, I'd say. All right, it's 3 oak. Let's see what we hit. I have a video is a good draw. So I am trying to look for one of our arrows. Ideally, a King Shark would be nice here. All right, there's the shark. So let's pop the shark, draw into it, pump, Arsenal take game, Arsenal, or draw the Blood Rot next turn. I think that makes sense. I guess the question is, do we want to overpitch this take game? Probably not. Let's try to Arsenal, I think. Alright, we get to hook. Or we should pretty safely be able to hook. But yeah, opponents just got so much life in this game. Kind of insane. There's a stand as well. Yeah, looking like a rough one. I had to get to a rampart here too as well. So we are going to connect here for a couple gold at least. But again, I think our disruption just like cannot hit. So there's the booze. Makes sense. I think this deck is running attacks and non-attacks. They just have so many ways to play out instants that it doesn't really matter what we kind of send. I think we're going to take an off turn next turn and maybe try to block a bit. Let's get the Eye of Ophidia in there. Right, we have our Codex too, so I'm probably just looking to block with this Kraken if I can help it. So yeah, go ahead and block with Kraken. Maybe even give up the Sea Ice now. Yeah, it's a bit rough. What happens if we block out fully? I feel like it's not very good. I feel like we just need to get value out of this Codex. What attack do they buy back? Probably just like a Mocking Blow or something. Feels like it's not actually great for us. I feel like I'm mostly worried about like random confidence. I guess we should still just sit on our armor. I think it's just a rough game all around, it feels like. I think here I'm going to make a Goldfin and try to discard it to the Codex. But yeah, the last leave them hanging, I think, is what I'm most concerned about at this point. I feel like they should be drawing it probably this hand. Alright, so let's take aim, and they might just intimidate in response to this, which is actually fine for us, I think. Right, the Codex resolves, or the take aim resolves. Now Marlynn discard to Codex, and then pitch the Blood Rot, and then lace with Blood Rot. I guess let's grab the King Shark, although I don't know if it really matters here. Yeah, so much blocking potential. And then they're going to have another leave them hanging on the next turn. Alright, so they get the red Mocking Blow back, which is also quite spooky. And then we'll set him with the King Shark, although don't think this is connecting. I mean, it might be connecting, but I don't want to risk like giving up the gold bait hook here. Might just need to take an off turn next turn and just like block out. Right, seems like our opponent's maybe just gonna play the Mocking Blow out of Arsenal next turn. They will also get it in the palm of their hand, though. There's another Terra Sunder. So I think the two Terra Sunders are in pitch at this point. Let's see if we can ponder anything good. Might just end up discarding to the Loan Shark, but let's let the Loan Shark resolve last. We could keep this, but I'd almost rather just save the 2 health here. I feel like this is a decent hand for just blocking out and making them do something on their next turn. Alright, coming in for 9. I think we'll just skip the hand here. In Sunken Treasure, turn over probably just the Battereds. Alright, we'll go ahead and Arsenal and pass. Make them do something here. They should be at their stack, so they should start finding those like last-ditch efforts, although I don't think it's very good to play them right this second. Oh, maybe they're trying to set up like a Liar's Charm combo. Because I think this is the only one we've seen, right? So maybe they do this with like last ditch effort. Maybe that's their primary win con. Very interesting. And so there's the leave them. That's fine to see the last one though, especially if they're playing it out on their turn. Right, and the goon tactics. So this will buff up by 1, or this will buff up by 3, assuming that they lie. Okay, interesting. Let's go ahead and I guess just block at the port side. So I believe this is only coming in for 2 over, assuming that they Lyath here. I guess the question is whether or not we want to block or if we want to keep the Blood Rod. I feel like I want to keep the Blood Rod, so maybe going to 3 here is actually fine. Definitely a bit awkward though. I think I just like have to be okay with this. Alright, so they make the third thing. They destroy the top card of our deck, which is fine. Let's see what they hit. C4 salvage is not the end of the world. So this is fine. Alright, lastly, them hanging out of the way is also really good because it means we're a bit safer. So I think now let's take the opportunity to start cracking some gold. We have a lot of blue still left in our deck. Which means that we're going to be able to potentially overpower something. Alright, crack some more gold. Try to make as much use of this pile as we can. Alright, I think we can get a little bit more greedy. Still have that last codex that we pitched pretty early. I think I'm fine cracking like 1 more gold here. We're definitely eating pretty deep into the pile. And so there's Sunken. Could stop here if we wanted to, but let's do the one last one. Alright, Sleep Dart's fine. So this actually works out really well. So we load the Yellowfin. Pump Pump. Lace. Then Codex, then Yellowfin. We didn't make a gold this turn, but I wonder how much prevention they actually have left. We could get greedy with the gold bait hook. It's coming in for +10, so 14 total. Yeah, that's not necessarily guaranteed though. Maybe we should still try to do it. They have 1 more potentially Withstand left. They have 1 more Oasis left. I feel like that's not, maybe. So there's the riches. Oh, it's maybe that's what they're also doing with the last ditch effort. They make a bunch of gold. Okay, I can kind of see the vision here. Yeah, this deck does not feel very great to play against. It just feels like nothing we really do matters. I guess we do get to connect with our on hits, but like beyond that, it just feels like what we're doing is like very, very weak. Alright, there's the last Fiddlers as well. God, so much life gain too. They have 3 Sigils, 3 Hungry for More, 3 Fiddlers Green. Yuck. Okay. Get rid of these Sunkens, sleep those. I guess Arsenal the port side is fine. Alright, opponent is going to be coming in for 5 total. Alright, we could still potentially win from this scenario. We just gotta figure out how. Let's give the hook here. I think we might as well just give the remaining armor. I don't think this armor actually like helps us really very much. I think this is fine. We do have the riches loop for what it's worth. So let's see if our riches loop can beat their last ditch effort loop. Remains to be seen, I guess. And so they arsenaled the power play. So this is not going to be a Goldfin Harpoon turn because we have the Codex. So let's discard it. Marlynn draw. It's fine. So we need to crack, I think, a gold here with the riches, which is a little unfortunate. Like, I think we need to find another blue to make this hand work. But hopefully we're at the point where they can't just start, like, keep pitching their entire hand every turn. This is fine. So this is, I think, the optimal hand. I think we're going to go for King Shark here so we can start trying to pull out those last-ditch efforts from hand. Maybe that's our primary win con at this point. The catch of the day resolves and hits, and we get 2 of them out. I think we actually might be okay here. We still have to deal with the Titan's Fist, obviously, which is maybe the scariest card right now. We made a gold here, so we can gold bait hook. Yeah, I think this is about as good as it gets. And I don't think it's particularly good. We still have that one, or no, sorry, last Oasis is gone. Maybe one more Withstand, but I don't think we saw that. So yeah, we need to basically strip their hand here, hopefully. Maybe there's opportunities this game that we could have done a little bit better. I'm kind of curious. Like, what, if anything, we could have improved on? I feel like we should be hitting at least one other last effort, assuming that they don't have anything else to play here. So I feel like this King Shark should connect. Right? It looks like it does. So very much, I guess, depends what we're able to kind of pull here. Oh, we do get to also steal their gold, which is kind of funny. All right, so we get a last effort, we get a power play. Okay. It's kind of dooming initially. Oh, we might actually be in that bad a shape. We're still pretty rough in terms of like deck density, I think. Tipple's not bad arsenal though. And we maybe just have to block out here, or can we even block out? So we have +5 here, plus another 5. Coming in for a 10. Interesting. So we go to 1. Or no, we die. Oh, we're so close. Maybe we should have kept the Tipple. No, I guess that doesn't even save us. Good game. Yeah, unfortunate. I feel like we were so close to just like maybe doing something there, but I think our opponent just had like way too much life gain set up too early. I feel like if we go first there, we probably do okay that game. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is like the new Lyath strategy they're trying. I feel like maybe our deck just like struggles into like this deck, or we could have maybe done something different at a different point. Unfortunate. I think that they maybe also just had a really good start with like how many Fiddler screens and Hungry for More they were able to see early, because I feel like that kind of just like put them so far ahead in terms of life total that their Mocking Blows are also really good. Yeah, pretty good game from them though. I think like that deck seems like a pretty challenging matchup, especially with just like how much block value they get. Like it seems like most of their, like if we start by instance here, like this is an instant, block, instant. It just kind of seems like they can basically just like pitch their entire hand whenever they want to like kind of get around the I guess like the Go Fish triggers and stuff. Yeah, seems like a very difficult matchup there. All right, well, I think that's probably going to wrap it up. So I think we played against Kayo, Gravy, and then the Lyath. The Lyath matchup seemed like really, really tough, at least for that variant of the deck. Like the more kind of like Azalea-esque variant seems like a little bit better. But I'm curious to see how that Lyath deck like does against like other decks like Kayo or like I guess like decks like Gravy or whatever. Like does it actually have a chance against like those decks? So maybe that Lyath deck is not like something we need to super worry about, but it was actually like pretty effective, I think, into our deck. But yeah, still practicing this deck for the upcoming Pro Quest, so we'll hopefully be using that the new Cold Foil Eye that I got today to kind of like run this deck in paper and see how that goes. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we're going to be doing some more Marlynn content on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for like a more kind of like full primer deck building guide breakdown then. So see y'all then, and yeah, thank you all for watching. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.